Hello.
Hi, everybody. We are in person with Sacred Rebels with Claire, Voyant, Psychic Medium, and
Erika, Lane.
And we have a special guest this week. This is Danica. This is Erika's beautiful daughter. So we're trying it out. Yeah. Trying it out. We're seeing what's going on. And oh my God, we haven't been in this kind of a setting
since like before, like, I don't know, like 2019 or 2020.
No, you came to my apartment one time in 2020, I remember.
Yeah, the beginning of it. Yep.
Yeah. So, here we go. We're going to try it out. We're going to do it again. What did I do with those tarot cards? They're right there. Okay. All right. So, let's get into last week. What was the judge?
Okay. So, I don't know. My head's kind of lost with this. I know that over the weekend I had added some more detail to Mars. So like on Saturday and Sunday, Mars was making a trine aspect to Chiron and a square to Uranus. And so I wrote some more detail about that, but ultimately it was kind of funny because at the end of it, it was about not having all of the answers and not letting like your the pressure of needing to have all the answers distract you from like divine timing, right? Like that the answers will come when they're supposed to.
This was this weekend, like Sunday too?
Yes. And so it was like talking about how like instead, why don't you try to draw a hypothesis and come at life from a more curious way, you know, ask questions, like instead of trying to just force an answer.
We literally had that conversation this morning where I was saying I had to walk through and ask questions like, how long do you want to be here? Okay, plan that. All right, what does this look like? How long is this going to be like? It was like each one was like a little curious, and then we flowed
with it. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
So it was a little bit of planning, but a lot of flow.
I also thought it was interesting because the whole reason why I wanted to look at it, I'm always kind of like trying to make comparisons to the charts with like the news that's going on in the world. So that particular morning is when I woke up and everybody was like, oh my God, something about like there's this civil war going on in Russia and like this like mercenary group like decided to rebel against like the military leaders. And so then I was like, oh, maybe this is going to be a big day. And then when I got to the end of that, I was like, you know, I think there's not going to be an answer to this. And then like a little while later, towards the end of the day, it was like, yeah, all of a sudden they just dropped it. No one knows why. It doesn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, because they're not supposed to have all the answers, I guess. Or maybe they tried to act on something that they didn't have all the answers to yet. And so therefore their plan didn't work out for them, right? You know, like that kind of energy.
So they didn't make it a big, they are deciding to like probably.
Yeah, it didn't. I don't know. It didn't make any sense because, like, I guess the leader.
So your point is not making any sense. That's the thing.
Yeah, the whole thing is that. Yes, there you go. The whole point of this weekend was it wasn't supposed to make any sense.
We're on toothpaste Gemini Mercury.
Yes, that's today.
Oh. Okay, sorry.
But yeah, I mean, ultimately, yeah. I think that like the information ramped up over the weekend. It kind of probably became overwhelming to some people. And maybe if you took all that information and decided to act on it without feeling completely clear, then you might have been met with some
anxiety
or annoyingness or things just not working out.
And yep. That explains my Sunday.
Perfect.
Okay, today
is Monday, June 26th, and the moon is now in Libra. So we are building a picture, right? And this picture that we are building right now is towards like, you know, bringing in some balance and harmony into how we feel, you know, and our emotions. And it's also going to be having us look at different perspectives when it comes to our emotions. That's the moon anyway for today, if you want to add on to that.
The only thing that keeps coming into my head is being able to look at the transits of what is going on right now. Is there something happening with Chiron today?
So you might be feeling no, but Mars was making that trine to Chiron over the weekend. It's still sort of close, but it's not close enough to like. See, that's like your chart. See how yours is way more noisy. So I've like cut mine down to only like tighter aspects. So see, like it's you could say that Mars
Oh,
is
all this
trining.
stuff? I don't know what any of that means.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, kind of Mars is
Okay.
still trining Chiron, but not as tight of an aspect anymore. So
Okay.
um
So for me, this is probably hitting my moon because it's like something is hitting my moon.
well, this is the opposite of your
Yeah.
moon. Yeah, I was actually thinking about that earlier.
Yeah, I was like crying yesterday. I was so emotional. I was like feeling love. It's been such a big feeling lately.
That partnership.
Yeah. But I feel like it's even before that, but for sure yesterday and today. Yeah.
No, then yesterday you would have for sure felt the Mars in Chiron trine, which is like I wrote about that in the thing, right? Because this Mars square Uranus is like trying to basically be scared of the uncertainty. But then Mars trine Chiron is like healing, it's like healing. It's like maybe things are still uncertain because you're still healing or something like that. I don't know. That didn't make sense as I said it.
Okay, so basically yes, it did make sense. So healing is never, everybody always says it, healing is never linear, whatever. Healing is all over the place, and a lot of the times it doesn't make sense. Like, why the fuck is this popping up all the time, or why is this old person, like, why did I see my old boss from years and years ago yesterday? Like, somehow that was a healing moment. Like, how, like, it's you just have to go with it.
And this is also a lot about learning yourself, because Leo and Aries working in sync together
can be fucking powerful
as hell. Yeah, especially when it comes to like, who are you, what makes you special, what makes you unique, how do you feel, how are you standing apart amongst the crowd, are you brave about who you are you authentic about who you are.
Do you feel like that's going to be a lot of what the Venus thing is going to be, is all that what you just said?
Yeah, because now that Mars moved off of what I just talked about, Venus is moving into that same aspect. So then it's going to be, so right now it's like movement, right? It's like we're moving on it. When Venus comes in, it's like, how does that pertain to what we value?
Yeah. So, Danica. Do you feel like that makes sense? Do you think that you have been thinking for yourself? So Danica, just so you guys know, is a Scorpio sun, Gemini moon, Taurus rising. Yep. So I have a Taurus rising as well. So
your guys' houses,
we are very similar. Yeah. So I have noticed for myself that I keep getting put in these situations. So I'll tell like a little bit of a story. Yesterday, we went to this certain restaurant, and there was a host that like was just rude to me, pissed me off. I had the opportunity and saw myself reacting ginormously. And I have done it in the past where I kind of go a little Karen on people or whatever. But I chose to choose like the not that way, because I know that will ruin the rest of the night. Are you noticing like you're choosing better?
Yeah.
Do you have any examples?
Last night I was talking with a friend, made me extremely mad. And I just decided to block him instead of
Fighting.
Yeah.
Good job.
I couldn't put up with what he was saying.
Good. So yes, shutting down completely is probably the most extreme, Scorpio energy, but it's, you chose to not engage in that bad behavior. So that is a win no matter what. So I think that that's something just a Venus wise in general that we are all going to be going into contact with, especially during this retrograde, where we're going to be like, what are you being faced with Venus wise in your chart, whatever's going on, and are you going to choose the old way or the new way? And it's really fucking potent. I feel like this is, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm an Aquarius and it also squares Taurus, so I don't know, it's fixed. It feels way more potent.
I feel like it's like kind of also an authenticity thing for sure, where it's like putting the things we value in more alignment with who we truly are. So like inwardly, right? Like it's like, do do I really like this, or do I really value this, or do I really love this person, or do I mean, I don't know, that was a weird way of
No,
saying
that
that.
makes sense. Like who, like it's all Venus stuff.
Yeah.
Am I gonna keep pretending? Do I want to stay in this job? Do I want to stay in this relationship? Do I, like, who am I?
Yep.
Really Leo, and then whatever, if Aries is pairing with it.
So that could even have you when you're deciding not to react to things, right? Because you're like, oh, this isn't valuable to my time, you know?
Or time. Why time?
Because like when you said that about
I
like not
feel like-
reacting to that host, right? To me, it was like you valued your time more than the value of calling that guy out and wasting wasting your good moments on that interaction.
But the main part of it was me choosing to be a better version instead of the time thing. I definitely didn't think about the time thing. So that's a Capricorn thing with
No,
you.
that makes sense. No, I get what you're saying. That was you valuing yourself then.
My character.
Your higher self.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. There's a lot. This is going to be a fun little Venus thing, and hopefully we will be here and alive and doing videos for you. We never know when it's going to like take us out.
Well, it's interesting that we already went into the Venus retrograde, because I had written that down when this Venus transit comes in later on this week, about how Venus is in its shadow right now. So like,
okay,
we're already kind of feeling that. So it's interesting, like, you know, you brought it up without me even saying that first. So apparently it's a big deal.
Okay. So did we even talk about today? Or are we done?
Nope. So yeah, still on to today. Mars is still making that square to Uranus though. So this has to do with just like, another way that I put it, right, is like Mars wants motion.
Mars wants motion.
It wants movement.
Okay.
You know? And so Mars in Leo is like moving in the direction of authenticity, of letting yourself shine versus letting other people shine. Taking up space. Also, it has to do with like, I don't want to use the word like dramatization, but sort of, right? Because like you can use that in a good way or a bad way too. Basically what it means is like how you dress yourself up, or the words you're saying, or the actions that you're taking, how you dress it up to make the most impact. So some people can use that in a more negative way, where they're over dramatizing themselves for attention, out of fear of not having attention, out of fear of loneliness or whatever. Or it can be you're dressing up the way that you're speaking, or the way you are, whatever. So that way you can get a point across that is in alignment with yourself, right? Does that make sense? So kind of like maybe like if I were to just say something plain as day to you, you might not absorb it as well as if I dressed it all up and
or
made
analogy.
it all flashy. Yeah, or
like,
analogy.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, or giving you examples, or acting it out for you, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're doing that in a way that is for the end game, right? And the reason why I say for the end game is because Taurus energy hates Uranus there. So here we go with that friction, right? And that square going on, because Uranus is trying to like maintain and sustain something, and Uranus is like the opposite of that. It wants to change things, and it
fuck shit up.
Yeah. And so the kind of like way to bridge the gap between those two dualities is to say, hey, I have this long-term vision in mind, but maybe sometimes I need to course correct in order to stay on the course. You know, maybe sometimes I'm like, hey, this long-term goal that I have is going to require me to change this about myself, or my life, or my relationships. So with that square or friction energy, you are basically exercising your muscle to be able to be adaptable when changes come, or when change is needed, rather than being stuck, taking the less evolved Taurus energy and being stubborn, right? And being like, no, like I refuse to change.
Every single client is in that, like, oh yeah. So it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to cause, like yesterday, it was uncomfortable for me to just sit there and bite my tongue and not say anything, like this guy was being rude. Like, it was uncomfortable because to me that was not fucking fair, you know, like, And so that's a part of it. That's a part of change. Like we have to be uncomfortable. What is that quote that is the only way that people change and actually want to change or whatever is when it's something like when the value of the change becomes greater than the uncomfortability, yeah,
or the fear of uncomfortability.
Yeah, something along those lines. I feel like I fucked that up, but
no, that makes a lot of sense. Like, you know how they also always say this could be a good way of putting it too. Like, you know, when it comes to like embodying things. So I think of Mars too as like embodying energy, right? It's the putting things into motion. So like maybe you know of some concept. Like maybe you read some self-help book and you're thinking in your head like, you know, the advice in this book is probably good. It's probably good for me. This advice is something I should probably follow, right? But then that's not the same as you actually implementing it and doing it, right? So sometimes that can be the hang up for tourists too. It can be like, yeah, I know I should probably make this change, but like
how?
Or why am I still just sitting here even though I know I shouldn't be, you know, like that kind of thing. That makes sense?
Yeah, it makes complete sense. But so do we tell people to figure out the how right now, or are we going to be in the hanged man position to figure out the how, or what's going on?
So I think that that's different for every person because I think uninvolved people, you're not even going to be able to have this conversation with them. So you kind of have to, I think it's because you have to be able to recognize that feeling in yourself first. So, like, for example, if you're aware of yourself enough, then you're going to notice that uncomfortable feeling come in and you're going to be like, what is this? Is this something that, am I uncomfortable for a reason that is real for me, that's authentic?
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
So I had to pay, like, I didn't understand what kind of, like, I wanted to just say flavor. That's how fucking, my senses. Okay. Okay. They're like velvety and corduroy. Like it's a lot going on right here.
Oh, I
had to touch it.
Looks like strawberry flavor.
Okay, so anyways, I want to kind of do something really quick. Okay, Danica, when it comes to uncomfortableness in your life right now, what comes to mind? Like, what is uncomfortable right now that you feel comfortable talking about?
Going to the one therapy
Okay. So is this a weekly thing? Is this okay? So they go to therapy once a week, and okay. So why is that uncomfortable?
Because I'm sharing my Christmas stuff with the person I do.
Okay. Okay. So the uncomfortableness is the vulnerability. Do you see how it's benefiting you? Yeah. And is it benefiting for the better or the worse or the better? So you see that uncomfortableness is needed. Yeah.
So there you go. Thank you. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's the Leo thing, right? To make the point. Mm-hmm. Because she now knows that uncomfortability is in alignment with her life and where it's going, right? Rather than like you keep trying to force yourself to be around a toxic person that you probably shouldn't be around. That's the kind of uncomfortability that
if it doesn't make sense or if it's not aligning with you anymore, you gotta
yeah. So that's not an uncomfortability that you should push through.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this is because you're putting it through the filter of these long-term goals, right? Taurus. These long-term visions, goals that you have, all of these pieces need to connect. So the thing that could be unexpected, I mean, I guess we could go back to that example, right? Let's say that Danica's just living her life, never having to be vulnerable, and she can see the problems with that. Unexpected thing comes up, her mom says, hey, we're going to counseling. And so she could revert into Taurusness and be like, no, that feels uncomfortable. I'm not doing it. Even though I know it's good for me, I'm not doing it. Or she could be like, this is uncomfortable, but I know that I need it, so I'm going to push through.
So like pushing through that uncomfortableness is something that is needed for the long term.
And for motion, to keep
Don't
things
worry
in
about
motion.
it. I saw that something threw over there. We'll get it later. Don't worry about it. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, come back with this energy. So, do you see that, like, in the future, adult Danica, which, by the way, do we even say how old she is? Do you want to say that? Like, is that?
I don't care.
Say.
Yeah. Oh, she is 12 years old.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways, in the future, adult Danica, don't you want to be someone that has went through therapy and okay, I worded that very manipulatively. Let me redo that. Does what you are doing in this therapy with this guy align with who you want to be as adult Danica or older Danica? Let's even say like a year from now, Danica. Yes? Yeah. So that's what you have to think about. Like, I know that this is uncomfortable, but I really need this. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting because we have been having like a lot of talks about that, right? About pushing through these uncomfortable things. Yep.
Mm-hmm. That just reminded me of this morning when we were talking. So this morning we had full intentions of doing the podcast like we normally do, and I don't know, Uranus happened. I don't know, but it went crazy. But one thing that I was talking about, and I was telling the story of how I told how Erika and I were having a conversation about, and I literally, I mean, yeah, look at that. I can't even say it. It's uncomfortable for me to say that me and Erika love each other.
And then we started just cracking up.
Yeah, and I almost like puked when I said it. Like I was like, like I didn't know. Like see, I can't even talk about it because we talked about that on this. Like, I don't know how to be loved. I don't know if I fully even know what love is. And it has a lot to do with our past and we're healing through things. So that is very uncomfortable. Like looking at you right now, I couldn't say it. Like that's so uncomfortable. But we're doing it. We're working through it. So now you know we're also fucking uncomfortable. Don't. Okay. Don't. But see, like it's with everybody and it's with every relationship because that's Venus.
Dude, you know what's cool too that you say that? Like I have noticed that I think that it's the feminine energy, right?
Yeah.
It feels awkward and uncomfortable. Like and I think of that when we're saying that to each other, right? Like because if you took a really feminine woman, she would have no issue being like, I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've seen
or
that,
like the
that.
Drunk girls in the bar, you know, in the I love you, let's be best friend. Yeah, like I honestly was never that person.
Yeah, me
I was
either.
always taking care of other people.
Yeah, and that's why we are the way that we are because we've needed to step into more masculine roles in our lives, being the protector, being the creator, being the provider, right? And so we haven't
been loved. I had to yell it. We haven't been loved because we don't know how.
Yep.
So we're doing it now. 38 years old. Okay. Next, we are only on the fucking day one. Oh my god, that's
Mercury is at its last degree of Gemini. We already kind of said that, but I can definitely feel this today because I feel like everybody's like, oh, no, get this out, right? Like that's kind of what it feels like to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Like Courage the Cowardly Dog, you know. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of like communication happening. There's a lot of thinking happening. Again, though, this is where you can kind of get stuck in that mental construct of like, I have to figure it out. I have to say it all. I have to like be in my head kind of thing. Like, no, you don't. Like, you can
rest. It's Cancer season.
And Mercury is going to be going into Cancer too. So like
prepare. Just shut the brain down.
Or write, you know, like if you do feel like you need to get a lot of things out, maybe write it. But I'm just saying like
vlog it, record it, whatever. Just get it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Okay. So Tuesday, June 27th. So the moon is still in Libra, but it's going to move further into Libra. So it'll start making an opposition to Chiron. So there we go with the Chiron stuff again.
Okay.
And remember too that your moon's in Aries. So this Chiron energy you're feeling more heavily anyway. But I guess wanted to say that with this, again, we're having these two conflicting energies going on here, because Aries is identity, Aries is self, Aries is
independence, go-gettery, go.
As to where, and then
go. That was so Taurus of me. Go.
Okay, as to where Libra is more like other, and like how do you feel? What do you think? I can't decide. What do you think? It's more like collaboration, it's more perspective. It's like, oh well, I didn't even think about how I felt. I was just worried about what you thought, like that kind of, so that's where they're kind of the opposites.
Wow, that just explained showing me.
And me and you too, right? Like, yeah.
Okay.
And because I notice a lot of my Aries people that I know in my life will come to me and be like, "Is this rude? Should I do this?" They want me to
say that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Because you're wanting me to figure out if it's collaborative or if it's
fair.
There you go, balanced approach, right? So with this, if you want to meet somewhere in the middle, this would be like all those identity wounds that you have been working on healing, right? So that you know yourself at the level that you are right now. And so if someone comes in that is trying to, so collaboration should only happen if that collaboration doesn't mean it's self-sacrificial, right? That's where you kind of meet in the middle and balance these dualities. So it's kind of like, yes, I'm willing to.
I need you to like dumb that down. First of all, self-sacrificial. If it is self-sacrificial, it is not okay.
Correct. So that's kind of where I'm looking at with the middle of this, right? So on one extreme of Libra, you could be like, whatever you want, I don't give a fuck about me. Extreme of Aries is it's about what I want. I don't give a fuck about what you say. So we want to bring that into the middle of like, hey, I know who I am. So if you are in alignment with me, I'm willing to compromise with you. But like, if you're telling me that I need to change like this core of who I am in order to compromise with you, then that's a no-go.
Okay.
Yeah. Mercury will then be in Cancer, and as soon as it moves into Cancer tomorrow, it will be making a trine and sextile aspect to the nodes. So,
wait, why? The nodes are in Taurus.
Yeah. So think about it. So Cancer 1 degree will trine the south node.
Thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it will sextile.
Okay. It was the degree.
Taurus. Yeah. So, but this is fucking potent actually because it's all at 1 degree. All of it. And so, and we're going to get into this later because this is actually really cool. So right here we have 111. When the full moon hits, guess what? Sun in 11 degrees, moon in 11 degrees, 11. So this is actually coming up a lot this week too, by the way. I noticed that this morning when I was writing about this. So
we hit 11 today.
Oh, we freaking did. Yeah, see, that goes to even more of this. Yeah. So, okay, first of all, I want to say that like speaking and thinking tomorrow, if you're coming from a place of like karma, be thinking that too, right? Like what you just said to Danica about where you want to see yourself in the future or what kind of person you want to be in the future, like looking towards this higher self perspective. So what I mean by that is like speaking and thinking, how do I, in a more uplifting way rather than a contracting kind of way. I think that that's going to have karmic payoff, I guess, with where we're going in the world. And because of the nurturing aspect of it too.
So it's because it is aligned with our future and Cancer is the nurturer. So think of nurturing yourself with your words. Mothering yourself with your words, how you want to be mothered, not how you were probably mothered, most people. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Start up new affirmations tomorrow. I am loved. I am safe. I am beautiful. This is stuff that is going to help you for the future. So that would be cool to start doing that.
Also, like, I am healed. Because I
I'm
think that a lot of
healed.
people get stuck in
Ooh.
healing. And then if you're like always healing, then you're always going to be healing.
I think that you are always healing because you're always changing.
You're always healing, but are you always, what's the word I'm trying to say? Like, is that, I guess, is that healing? Because some people will use that as like, well, I can't do this until I'm healed. You get what I'm saying?
No, because that's nobody should say that.
Right. That's my
Okay.
kind of my point. I feel that's the stuck I'm talking about. The people that get into that stuck of just like, well, I can't do that because I'm not healed yet, or I haven't healed that yet, or you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the only reason why I'm saying that is because of that Scorpio South
I
node.
see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I understand, but like you could do it for you said that word earlier, something about embodiment, like the healed. I am healed, like envisioning and embodying that
Healed
like
energy.
healed energy. Yeah. So write it on your fucking mirror, whatever. Say it, whatever. Whatever's gonna help you. I haven't done that in fucking years. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna write on my mirror.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then oh, we already, okay, so that's it for Tuesday. So Wednesday, June 28th, the moon is moved into Scorpio and it will conjunct the South Node. So maybe old triggers, old feelings, old emotions are going to kind of come back up.
A good.
It just means amplified, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're both in the same energy.
Okay.
And South Node brings up shit from the past.
Yep.
So again, maybe that's also kind of a cool little signal of how tomorrow, or okay, so Tuesday, we are like looking at where we've been, where we're going, and how we want our words and our thoughts to match this higher self. Wednesday comes in and goes, yeah, but remember this old feeling from the past? You're not good enough. You can't do that. You're
or
you're
even
not,
just
you're
like
not
a little
healed enough.
carrot dangle of, are you gonna go this way again? Are you gonna do this again? Because that's Scorpio shit.
Yep.
Addiction, escapism,
Shadows.
old coping mechanisms.
Ooh. I actually just had a thought too.
With this Venus shit, it could definitely be people. Bad people coming back.
From the past.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's a lot of psychological shit too. So like, you know, the whole point in like shadow work is to take that shadow and not get rid of it, but is it called transmute it into your, or to kind of like incorporate it, become whole, right? It's like to become whole.
What I used to say is become friends with your dark passenger, like on Dexter.
No, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you might notice those things kind of coming back to tease you, and that's usually why, because you haven't made it whole yet. You're still trying to basically separate yourself from that part of yourself.
Oh, so it's raw.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then also on that same day, the sun will start making a trine to Saturn in Pisces. So there's even more water energy. There's a lot of water energy going on Wednesday. But that's a good thing, right? That is putting our
emotions at the forefront.
It is. And it's also putting like that inner authority that we talk about with Saturn through the lens of our emotions.
Oh.
Which kind of was why you said too, when you think of it as being raw, that's actually perfect, right? Because if you have this raw part of you that you haven't incorporated into your whole being yet, and someone comes and nudges that side of you, that inner authority is going to go out the fucking window if you're not regulated, if you're not like.
Oh, exactly like what my anger thing yesterday.
Yeah, yeah. Because you were aware in that moment to stop it, instead of looking back on it at the end of the day going, oh, why did I react that way?
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Make sure your juge is good. Like we were talking about that a lot. Like I do my thing every morning where I do my meditation, I stretch, all that stuff. yeah, you got to keep doing it. This is nurturing. This is keeping it in action in Cancer season.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Okay, so also Venus is going to start making that trine to Chiron now on this day. And that's when I wrote that Venus was in shadow.
Okay.
Because I think that, ooh, yep, there it is. So we are now back to this filtration system thing. When that day comes around, we are able to filter the people and things, like the value things around us, right? We're able to filter those through our authenticity of Venus and Leo, because we are starting to turn more inward now and be like, is this fitting with my identity? The best way that I think I need an analogy for this, but like the best way I can think about it is like, if you've done a lot of growing in your life, you might have this with family, right? Because family seems to be the one that's like the hardest to, like, if you had a friend that no longer aligned with you, like let's say you grew past that friend, you could maybe more easily just be like, yeah, I haven't talked to them in 10 years because we just kind of grew apart, right? But you don't really hear people say that as often about their families. So that could be like you being around your family as this new you that you know who you are, and realizing that maybe they're not respecting you for the person that you are. And
or friends. I literally feel the friend thing because I don't know why I'm opposite of that. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah. So checking your boundaries, checking that authenticity of, do they align with, wow.
Yep.
Sorry if I
No, that makes a lot of sense, because if you keep sacrificing the value of the things that are important to you because you just want to hold on to something outside of you.
Why? It's wasting your juge.
Yeah. And it more than, like, the universe has a funny way of disrupting. Then you're going to just be asking for more tower moments is the way I look for it. More repetition. The universe constantly reminding you, hey, this isn't in alignment with you.
Okay.
Okay, Thursday, June 29th. So the moon is still in Scorpio, Venus is still trine Chiron, and Sun is still trine Saturn. So essentially Thursday is another repeat of Wednesday.
That's my glucose. I ate too much sugar. It is.
Your phone, is that your phone that did that? Okay.
I'm trying out the new Dexcom fancy G7 whatever.
I still don't even get how that works, like how it knows.
It pokes me. It's blood.
Oh,
It gets
can
blood.
you feel it?
Not at all. It's amazing. Made me like, oh, I gotta cut that out for sure. But I ate a stupid lemon cookie or cupcake. It's my bad.
No, but that means you probably doing that less often because you now have that outside of you thing.
Annoying fucking thing that I literally cannot turn off.
Yeah.
It's so annoying. I figured out how to like silence it for 6 hours, but that's it. It comes back on.
Holy cow. I know this doesn't make any sense, but this whole thing also just came to me with this Leo energy. Because there's two sides to this story too. You know how some people will just be like, yeah, this is that with the Taurus thing. Some people will be like, that's just who I am. Like if I were to come up to you and just be like, hey Claire, I really think that you need to worry more about your diabetes. I'm worried about you. And you're like, well, this is just the way I am.
Yeah, there's a lot of diabetics out there that are like that.
Right. Versus you going, because here's the healthier side of that, versus Claire going, I know that this is how I am. So I'm going to get this thing because it's going to remind me. I know I need that external reminder because I know myself.
Yeah.
That's making the change, right? But you're still holding your authentic, you know yourself, so you know what change to make rather than just being like, no, this is just who I am.
Yeah. No, I tried to go to a diabetes support group. I'm trying to change. It's a whole thing. So yeah, I'm definitely embracing the change with that and knowing and owning that I 100% didn't fucking care before, and I should. Okay. I don't know where we were. Sorry. No, it was sorry on my part. My sugars screamed at us. You might need to hand me my thing because I think it's going to go off a lot. Can you give me my phone, please? It's okay. What's next?
Okay, so Friday, June 30th. So then the moon is going to move into Sagittarius, and I put that. Oh, and everything that was still from yesterday. So like Venus.
So the moon moves
Okay.
into Sagittarius. It was in Scorpio. Okay, so just more flowy, more or less, but more.
Also more learning, more seeking.
Oh, okay, good.
More learning and
Thank you so
seeking
much.
and being like, how do I like, what do I believe, or what is my philosophy, like that kind of thing. But then also the sun is going to sextile Jupiter, and I love that. So Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So this can put even more emphasis on learning about the resources that we already have at our disposal to make things out of. So maybe you're like, I wanted to get into this hobby years ago. I have everything I need for this hobby. Like, why don't I actually start learning about it? Like that kind of thing.
This is Thursday?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
No, Friday, sorry.
Oh, okay, good. Good. I have a project that I haven't started yet. I am fucking ready.
Also, it could put you in a teaching kind of energy too. So maybe you notice people come up to you asking you for advice or want to know more about the things that you know about. Or maybe you want to make a quick trip across, a couple towns away to go check something out. That's all the kind of energy I'm feeling for.
We were gonna do that this last weekend, but we didn't. So we'll probably end up doing it this weekend.
Okay.
Fun.
So Saturday, the moon is still in Sagittarius. This is when Venus starts its square to Uranus, and Mercury. Oh yeah, Mercury finally passes the sun too on this day. The reason why I put that there is because Mercury's finally like moving past. So like when Mercury went into retrograde, it went backwards over the sun. It's been kind of fallen far behind, and now it's like back over the sun again. So
it's like we could get a clarity.
Yes.
Yes. Thank God. Okay.
And good. The sun is still sextile Jupiter. So I think that what I'm saying is like this clarity could also have some good luck if you do something with it, as long as you're not scared of change. Yeah, essentially. Yeah, because that only thing tripping you up there is that Venus square to Uranus, right? And that's essentially you saying that you need to change some material things in your life to get where you want to go in the long run. And that these things that you value need to be in alignment with your authenticity. Is that just kind of like, why do I do this? I don't even like that. Why am I friends with this person? They're not even like me. They don't even see me. They don't even understand me. Why am I working this job? I fucking hate it.
Woo, big.
But if you take the leap and go, you know what? I'm going to change this. Then you're probably going to have some luck from that.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to say anything else about Saturday? No. Okay, so I pretty much skipped Sunday for some reason because then I wanted. Oh yeah, because I was looking for the full moon, which I thought was gonna occur on Sunday, but it actually occurs at like 6:30 in the morning on Monday, technically.
Okay.
But that's why I think we should talk about it, because we won't have another podcast till after that. Okay, so the full moon is in Capricorn at 11 degrees. So this is Cancer Sun opposed moon in Capricorn. So first of all, again, Pluto is back into Capricorn again. Pluto in Capricorn has been fucking up societal structures for a long time now, meaning that, again, you might have how am I trying to say this? Like, let's say that, think of a job that isn't needed anymore.
I have no idea. For some reason, my brain is going to photographer, like the person that used to develop film. Do they still have? Yeah, at Walgreens they do.
They've brought some of those art forms back.
Yeah, but they could just have that as like its own little specialty. Like, I mean, everything is online. You can go print, like those people can just print it or whatever. but developing film is only going to be mail in, or is only like, we don't need to be wasting time on that. Like, that's what my brain went to. So sorry. Okay.
But no, it's like essentially things like that.
But maybe a little bit more. Like potent.
I don't know, man. I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess when we saw it big time, right? When Saturn and Pluto met up in Capricorn was the beginning of 2020 and COVID and all of that. So obviously that's kind of like a little taste of it, of how this, but then honestly it went into Capricorn in 2008, and that was the financial crisis, right?
Ooh.
So like again, it's just like these breakdowns of like,
Yeah.
it's peak capitalism. There we go. That's all I needed to say. It's
Okay.
peak, it's all the breakdown of capitalism. Like, shit, this just isn't working anymore. It's went as far as it could go. I'm thankful for what it's done for society as a whole, but we are past this now, right? We've moved on. We need a new, different way to structure society, which is what Pluto and Aquarius wants to do. But Pluto has went back into Capricorn to finish up some shit, right? It's kind of like it's given us a taste of like, hey, look, this could be utopia. You guys just need to kill off some of these old worn out traditions that aren't working anymore. That's not from an Aquarius.
No, and I totally just thought that you were gonna say we need to kill off these old fucking men, these old fucking white men. Like, that's what I wanted.
Yeah,
like,
no.
it's the truth. But I was like, you never say stuff like that. And then
You're like,
my
for
brain
it.
just, yeah, it was the whole thing.
Oh my god, that's funny. But yeah, no, essentially, right? And so I guess with this moon is in a purging. This is the last time we are going to get a full moon in Capricorn before Pluto moves back into Aquarius.
For the rest of probably our life.
Yeah.
That's a fucking big deal.
And like I said to Claire earlier, it's at 11 degrees. The sun's at 11 degrees, so it's 11. And whatever. Actually, what I really wanted to do, and the reason why I brought this book, because I didn't get to this part yet, is the gate. So the reason why is because these are actually my north and south node gates. So that interested me, but I'm not going to actually read the whole thing because that's too much. So
I don't know what that means, but I'm snackish. Peckish. Munchish.
So the sun at 39 in gate 39 is obstruction or provocation. Okay,
Ooh.
actually, so I know what I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the optimal expression of the sun, because that's what we're going for. And then I'm going to read the unbalanced expression of the moon, because that's what we're reading.
Okay.
Okay, so so what we are going for, what we are striving for right now, is the ability to transform an experience into an opportunity to shift to greater abundance, to see and experience internal or external lack, and to use your awareness of lack to recalibrate your energy towards sufficiency and abundance. Ooh, okay, so
yeah, that was everything we've been saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
because
sure it's for our highest good, for the long game, all that.
You could always internalize that lack. That actually makes a lot of sense. Like what we just said about relationships. So like let's say you're like, I feel like I don't get enough quality time with my significant other. Then you can kind of like be like internalize that and be like, I feel like I don't get enough quality time with my partner. And you can be like, that feels like lack, right? There's something lacking there, that quality time. Now I can say, like, first of all, is this a me thing or is this a them thing? Like, is this something where I'm like, why am I upset that I don't get any quality time when I'm not asking for it or when I'm not communicating it, right? Or it could be an external thing too, where it's like, you know what, I've said to you 1,000 times that I need more quality time and you are ignoring that need. And so this lack is still there. So I need to recalibrate my life towards, I want a life of abundance. And in order to feel abundant, I'm going to need to feel like I'm getting that quality time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what we are getting rid of or what we are shedding in our lives is to struggle and fight for the sake of fighting, to not engage in meaningless fights, aggression, and struggle.
Oh my fucking God.
Fucking perfect. Because we ain't got time for that anymore.
Yeah. Wow. All right, guys, this is a big deal. So that's like this job that you have just, it sucks. You've been fighting with people, but like it's time to fucking change the relationships that you've just put up with.
Ooh, and then
Time to
also
fucking
too, the
change.
line that this is in is line 2, and that's a very empathetic line. So another way that I see this too, like back to the analogy I just used about quality time. Let's say you've said it over and over again to your partner, right? To not struggle and fight for the sake of fighting, right? Like, hey, I have brought this to your attention and we have been in 10 fights about how I feel like you're not giving me enough quality time. Maybe you could use some empathy in that situation too, to be like, I am really feeling that my partner is not ready for that change. They're not ready to face that uncomfortable feeling. I can feel that, right? So instead of constantly trying to force them to, I'm going to realize that my energy just doesn't belong here anymore. Like, you can stay in your uncomfortableness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So, full moon, 6:30 in the morning on Monday. Put your fucking water out, your crystals, write down what you want to rid your life of. This is a big one.
Burn it. Burn this shit. You don't want to. If you have been having these endless fights with people, figure out a way to rid that out of your life. This will be a good moon
Oh,
for that.
God, it feels so emotional. Do you feel emotional? Okay.
Why did you say it like that?
But no, like it's an emotion. It feels like, I don't know, heavy. This is going to be a pretty heavy moon.
Have another summer like
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, that was all of those.
Yeah.
Okay, so for tarot, for some reason, 2 cards came out, and a weird thing happened where I drew the Queen of Cups, and then when I went to go put down the King of Blades or Swords, whatever, I'm sure, it wouldn't like let it put me down or put it down. So I am so curious to see what this is going to be and how this plays into this week. So let's get started, and I will put the picture up. You guys will be able to see it, whatever. Okay, so Queen of Cups. Okay. Upon drawing the Queen of Cups, you are advised to create time to pause and reflect. The basis of this card is that due to her infinitely subtle nature, it is hardly possible to see the genuine truth of her being, for she reflects the observer, you, with tremendous detail. She is veiled by endless bubbles and curves and light, and invites you to recognize how deep your inner waters go and how many aspects of you are actually just mirrors of others you've met along your way.
Dude, that was perfect for me and my reflectorness and this whole thing I went through with that today.
Good. But I love how the mirrors for this totally plays in with that, because it's like I hang out with this person all the time and it's making me a bad person or whatever. So it's right along with what we were talking about.
Or like you can't hold on to yourself when you're around them, which we've talked about that a lot lately too.
Ooh, okay. So we have that, and then we have the King of Swords. When you draw the King of Swords, it speaks to the authority and truth as principal meanings. This card highlights the portion of your personality that has tenacity, whatever, for quickly engaging with whatever thoughts occupy your mind, while maintaining a spiritual focus and enlightening in logic. Here, you bear no scales, unlike the balance card, but you do attempt to serve justice by fairly observing all sides of the equation. Hang on, I need more. The King of Swords rushes down from on high, riding on a Pegasus sword drawn and ready to strike. He unites the fiery and airy elements with wind and storm, and applies courageous action and focused word to his spirited thoughts. Okay. Lacking water and earth, however, he can be quite unreflective in his keen observations. And when expressing opinion, he can be brutal. There we go.
I love that. Don't be reflecting everyone else. Reflect
Mhm.
yourself.
Yep. And like what are you feeling? This Queen of Wands, like it's the depth. And what are you feeling? If you're upset, you're gonna be pooping on other people if you don't have your shit together. And don't do that. That's what this King of Swords is saying. You can see everything that you need to see and engage and do whatever and have the fire with the wind. Like, I'm gonna fucking light a fire under your ass and do the thing. Like, that's what the King of Swords is, but brings that like heart and soul into it.
Yeah, back to the bringing the balance of these two dualities. It's like staying
Like Cancer and
affirmed into
Capricorn.
yourself and how you feel, right? And then keeping the ball rolling in that way.
Talk the talk.
Ooh, yeah, embodying.
The roosters are
Well,
right
then.
there.
Like literally.
Okay, the next one is out of the metaphysical marijuana, cannabis, whatever it's called. I don't have it in front of me. Okay. I hope we can hear them on the thing. Okay, it's ocean, and for some reason okay, I'm just gonna read it. The suit begins with the power of the sword suit. Okay. Ocean rising out of the water in her bright yellow clothing with a sword of water piercing the sky. The ocean and the clouds seem to be connected and allow you to flow into victorious alignment. Ocean brings the sword to you because it's time to stand up for justice. She rises effortlessly and reminds you that the strength of your ancestors is remembered in the water of your body.
Ooh.
Whoa. Ocean wears gold jewelry, brass bracelets, beads, mirrors, and elaborate fans, and in every aspect of the card is shiny. Around her are the elements of music, dance, fertility, and prosperity. And in the background, a grove of trees signifies her throne.
Very Leo and very
Taurus.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. So that's, and then the next one is out of the metaphysical. Oh my God. Okay. Mystical Rebel deck. It is the study and learning. Oh my God, I didn't even look at this until right now. That's so weird. Okay. You are super smart, like genius level, sis, but even Einstein studied up on stuff. Spirit is guiding you to expand your knowledge around something to help you move forward towards your personal goals and divine purpose. This may or may not include going back to school, taking some classes, attending workshops, listening to podcasts, or even just reading up on something that you've been interested in. Your curiosity towards this topic is no accident. Your subconscious mind has been picking up on hints from your angels and planting seeds of intrigue into gently guide you into learning more. Spirit is trying to awaken a new gift, skill, or talent within you so your light can shine even more brightly in the world. This card is your sign that it is time to dive in and study up. There's an affirmation with this, and it's, so I like this one. I used to do, I remember. So everybody close your eyes and let's take this in. I love to learn new things and retain new information easily. I use my knowledge to live my purpose fully. Okay. So we're going to have to make sure that we have the head and the heart thing really balancing and moving and bobbing and weaving like this whole time. And then we have this that's kind of like, this is the authentic self. This is standing up for who you are, shining in who you are, making it even dramatic if you want to, accentuate it. Like, wear a fucking crown if you want to feel like a fucking princess, or like wear your weirdest thing that makes you feel awesome, or like whatever. Like, just be you and feel you. Like that's what that feels like.
Ooh, make the outside match the inside.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then the study and learning, I think, is just the honest like creativity that comes into it. Because this Leo energy and with just
the moon
Venus,
going into Sagittarius too. That's
yes,
kind of what
yes,
I kept
yes, yes,
thinking. Yeah.
for sure. But and how you said this weekend, like we could go, we can travel, or we could learn something or whatever. So yeah, whatever that is. If that's you starting a new project, if that's you picking up a new book, a new whatever. Danica, what has been something that has been poking at you that you've been wanting to learn about, read about, research about, anything, be creative about, draw, sculpting,
Yeah,
like with
art
clay?
class. Yeah,
Cool. Yeah.
I really want to get into it. I just don't have the materials.
Okay. Okay. So that's putting that out into the universe. We'll figure that out. Mine's definitely a creative thing project too, but also I think I need to go to Kansas City.
I just think I need to go to Kansas City.
Yeah. Like we need an IKEA run. What is there anything for you?
Feel like there is, but it's not coming to my head right now. Oh, I've been really wanting to learn my Ableton, my music equipment. And I finally have all the pieces ready to start diving deep into that.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Like a digital audio workstation. So like you can make music on it. Like making music on the computer, essentially.
Oh, okay. So like a podcast music, maybe?
Maybe, but like I just like need to learn more, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But yeah, maybe.
I was all like taking it to work, but you're wanting to do it for creative and fun and
Yeah. Yeah.
yay. Oh, this feels like it's going to be a lot, but also
Fun.
yeah, good. I mean, if you've been doing the work, you've been listening to us, you've been following along, I think that you pretty much got it. You're in the right juge.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say? You have anything to say?
No.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything to say?
No, I don't think so. I think we said a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure you check out all the links and wherever you're listening to this. I did open this up to another platform just recently. I think it was Google Podcast or something. I don't know.
Google has a podcast.
We have it on a lot of podcasts, but it's on our RSS feed. You can always look for us, Sacred Rebels. But it's on Spotify, it's on Apple, it's on Google, it's on YouTube, all that. Yep. So Sacred Rebels. What's the email address in case you want to have any questions or say anything?
It is sacredrebels333@gmail.com. And also, I think the email address is also, yes, if you're watching on YouTube, the email address is linked in the description box below.
If you're watching anywhere, because I ended up just copying that and I'm using it on everything too.
Okay. Hey.
So
also, no matter where you're watching this, make sure that you are sharing this video to people. If you find our message to be valuable to your life, then why not share the goodness so it can be valuable to more people's lives. And if you have any feedback or questions for us, please leave a comment or send us an email and like and
if
subscribe.
you would like to if you would also like to book any sessions with us, or if you were looking into just any of our services or whatever, that is all listed in the descriptions and everything below. In case anyone was wondering, I am wearing it says Moose and Squirrel say always keep fighting. This is a Supernatural Sam and Dean collab that they did with To Write Love on Our Arms, which is an organization that I fucking love.
To Write Love on Our Arms?
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
Oh, it's an organization that helps teens that cut themselves.
Whoa.
It's like my favorite movie. It's one of my most favorite. Like, anyways, we could look it up. It's one of my favorite things. Anyways, Just because I realized that people are probably like, what the fuck is going on her shirt? There was something else I wanted to say. Oh, we have something that we're going to be announcing soon. I probably might be getting that out very, like, it might be this week. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome. How of us collaborating. So, yeah, that's it. I feel annoying we're talking too much, and have a good weekend. We'll see